Hello and welcome to Kitchen Counter Crafts. If you like this video, would you please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Today I wanted to share this beauty with you. It is a Sheaffer Imperial Triumph 777. That's quite a name for this. And one of the first things you notice is the white dot for it being a Sheaffer. It has these striated, there we go, you can kind of see the beautiful kind of engraved work in there. And then the other thing you can see is just this Sheaffer logo right here. It's not a separate cigar band but it just has this engraved piece in there. I'm just kind of looking at it as I have it up close. There we go. So it says Sheaffer, and then it says made in the USA. And the reason why I'm taking such time to show you this part right here is because there's other 12 karat gold filled ones. There's another model with some other like electroplate on there too. So it'll say EP or it'll say 12K. And so that's how you know. It's not just the color of this pen that's showing you, what it is, but it also is going to be noted right there for you. All right. So it has a really nice clip, very solid, sturdy. There's no embellishments on the top or the bottom finial. There's no finial or anything like that. It's a very slender pen, but it's not a lady. So there are some that are lady pens and they'll be a little bit shorter, maybe a little bit thinner, but this is a regular pen. Now here's where I think the beauty really comes in, and that is in this. I love this Triumph nib. Don't you just love it? It's just so pretty. So it's a Triumph nib is a wrap around nib, and you can see the details right here. And then it has the Sheaffer information. It is a 14 karat gold nib, which is pretty crazy considering the price of this pen is usually like 50 or less. So it's an incredible deal that you can purchase this pen at such a low cost. So anyway, just wanted to show you this because it's one of my favorite nibs, and that is the 14 karat gold Triumph. Now, here's the other reason why I had to have this. And by the way, I also picked this one up from Danny Fudge with the Write pen, WRITE pen. And it's because of this push button converter. So it has this Sheaffer converter and it says push button fill on there. So that's actually not a very common converter. It's super cool because it's not, it doesn't take a cartridge. It doesn't have any issues with it, although you can screw this up. So some people say the spring will fail on it, etc., etc. So that can happen with this. So again, just a couple things to note on here. There are parallel lines that are engraved, the white dot on the cap, and one more thing. So when I was doing just some research, on this pen, I was finding that it had a lot of people were looking at this one and the Targa. And the Targa is actually a different pen. And so you just want to be mindful of that as well. So I'm going to actually fill this up. So let me make sure that this is clean. I'll be right back. All right, so glad that I looked at this pen because it was filled with purple ink. I believe it was Waterman purple. And as I was cleaning this out, I just wanted to show you. So the push button can actually, the spring can get messed up, so you have to kind of watch out for that. The other thing I wanted to point out as I was cleaning this out is that it actually is a converter that you can take out. So let's say something happens to this converter, your pen is not lost. The wonderful thing about Sheaffer is they still use the same cartridges, so you can still use that or purchase another Sheaffer converter. So the button, you don't have to be very pushy with it, push button, but I was going to show you how this works, so you'll see, hopefully. Let's see how much I can zoom in here without spilling any water. All right, so just to see it, you just immerse that in water and then you'll see bubbles. Oh, and still some purple ink. So what you do then is you can see that it loads it up with ink that way. And what they say is like push it, you know, a couple times. And there we go. All right, hopefully that's the remainder of the purple ink. And I am filling this with Serenity Blue Waterman. All right, so another tip on vintage pens. What you want to make sure that you're doing is only using Parker or Waterman, just some of the very basic inks. And that's because the other inks can ruin the rubber sack and things like that, especially if you're using like a Roshizuku. You should not put that into your pens. It is really quite terrible for them. Not like new pens, not modern pens I should say, but the ones that use the rubber sack. It's just they have like a lubricant in that and it can wreak havoc and you'll have to end up replacing your pens. So just make sure you're using very, very kind of old-fashioned inks. You can use Script, which is also Sheaffer, but that costs quite a bit. Parker is way cheaper, Parker Quink, and Waterman is also very cheap. So now the only problem that people end up complaining about is that you don't have as many colors, but as long as you're writing, you know, with these, I think it's fine. I just need some of the basic colors and that's what you get for all of these. So let's do a test. All right, so today is the 13th. And you can tell that it writes beautifully right off the bat. This is just regular copy paper. This pen is probably from the early 1970s. I neglected to mention that, by the way. No bleed through, even on just cheap desk paper. And so it'll write extremely well. The line is somewhere between a medium and a fine, I would say. And it's not a wet or a dry writer. It's just kind of right between. All right, some more writing here. There is no feedback. It's extremely smooth. It's 14 karat gold, so the nib is just unbelievably smooth. The other thing is that there is no line variation at all, so you get kind of what you get, but it's just a beautiful writer. As soon as I got this, I inked it, I wrote with it, and I've just been dying to do a video on this as well. So you can just kind of see how that writing sample looks. And then I will switch over to my Rhodia dot pad and show you the same thing. Oh, I didn't even write down which ink it was over there. Let's do that. And I'm just gonna print this so that you can see. Very nice blue, actually. Alrighty, so now this is the dot pad. Let me zoom out just a tad there. Forgot an A. Sheaffer. So I don't know if you could tell, it skipped a little right there, but that I think is just me picking the pen up. So I don't think that's any kind of a skip. And there's no bleed through on either the dot pad or the regular stuff, which is what I tend to pretty much use for my work, and just notebooks that you kind of purchase, not fountain pen friendly notebooks per se, but when you have a pen like this and you can utilize it, I just think it's fantastic. So if you are scared of vintage fountain pens, don't be, because you can actually pick up a gold nib and a beautiful pen for really not that much money. And then the other thing is that, this was in the 70s, so you didn't have a lot of availability with like the Japanese fountain pen papers and things like that. So you pretty much were able to use what you're able to use. So things that were common at that point were just like ledger paper, or for accounting or whatever, like that. So you will find that many of these pens actually will write very, very well on regular paper, like copy paper or notebooks or anything like that. And you don't have to worry too much about how, other kind of papers that you need to purchase, especially for these. But I also want to add a little caveat. Much of the paper that was being printed in the 1970s was still made in the US, so you didn't have, even cheaper, like being printed outside of the US. So paper was still fairly decent at that point in time. Plus you had the beloved onion skin paper as well. And so anyway, just a few notes on how well these write. I absolutely am a vintage fountain pen person now, especially because I have a reputable person that I purchased them from. And that's the whole point of this, is go to a pen show, go and take some cash with you, and go talk to some people who know what they're doing with vintage pens, and really come back. You can even test them there and you can check it out. And this one I purchased at the Arkansas Pen Show. And so anyway, I hope that you enjoyed that. I hope you will share with me if you have a Sheaffer. I would really love to know. If you have a Parker, I would love to know. Tell me about your vintage pens, and tell me also what you think about this one. So 1970s is now vintage, right? So tell me what you think about that as well. So I would really look forward to hearing your comments and what you think about this lovely pen. And until next time.